I wanted to talk about the whole Wendy Williams situation. And I don't know if you were online. I remember a couple months before we went on break, you were online when we were talking about Wendy Williams when she said that she was ashamed of being black because of something that happened on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, well, you know what? She's back in the news again. Last week on her show, she made some disparaging comments about HBCUs and the NAACP. She said that she feels that there is no need for these organizations anymore. She felt that if someone said that there was a historically white college or university or an NAACP for white people, that she would feel some type of way. And after she said that, she was drugged up and down social media because even her white audience members were looking at her. Are you serious? You know, why would you say something like that? You know, and it just seems like everyone else was aware of their history except her. And the funny thing about it is, her own father graduated from a historically black college. You know, and I guess Roland Martin from TV1, he had some comments for her, and he pretty much had to school her. And he also went on the show to educate her and told her, look, you know, the reason why these schools existed, because like at the time of their inception, there were no institutions for education for black people, and they had to create their own in order to educate themselves, because at that time you had segregation, you had Jim Crow, you had a lot of things that were keeping black progress at a standstill. So these institutions were started in order to help the black community to progress. And on top of that, some of these institutions and some of these institutions were created and kind of started up. White people helped these institutions like the NAACP. There were a lot of members, white members that assisted in getting that started, because there were good white people that wanted to see blacks progress as well. So it wasn't a thing where it was just, you know, black people trying to create some supremacist organization. So we're going to play a clip really quick of Roland Martin's appearance on the Wendy Williams show, where he pretty much educated her. I'm pretty sure some of you seen his response on TV1. If not, you can pretty much, I think you can look that up. But I really just wanted to play this clip because he really educated the audience on the importance and the history behind historically black colleges in the NAACP. So we're going to go to this clip, and we're going to come back with the rest of our commentary. And this is like a 10-minute clip, but we're just going to play a couple minutes of it.
Please welcome to our show the host of News One Now, Roland Martin. I want to apologize to everyone that I might have offended regarding my remarks. You know, apology, and I was wrong. So, Roland, help everyone understand why I was so wrong.
Well, the reason I had such a visceral reaction is because that's often been the criticism of HBCUs in the NAACP and really African Americans. And so when the folks say, well, why we need the NAACP? Well, I'll lay it to you like this here. The first slave came to America in 1619. Emancipation Proclamation signed in 1863. 13th Amendment ratified in 1865. Reconstruction goes to 1877. Then there's this great compromise where Rutherford B. Hayes becomes president. They pull the troops out of the South. Jim Crow starts. So you now go through all the way through the 20th century. 1960s, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, Fair Housing Act. If you had to place a marker on when black folks have been technically fully free Americans, it's 1970. That's only 46 years. I'm 47. So that means I was born into an America where I wasn't technically a fully free African American. fully free American. And so black folks have been trying to force America to live up to its ideals of all men and women created equal. But the reality is that was nice on paper, but it hasn't been in reality. And so when it comes to our colleges, we couldn't go to those schools. Matter of fact, we couldn't read during slavery. You could be killed if you were found to be reading. And so that's why it is so critically important. And so NAACP founded after a race riot in Springfield, Illinois. So why is it that in 2016 we're still fighting for voter rights? We're still fighting for income equality. And so though our institutions are allowing us to survive in America, even though we built this country. And so when you look at education, even though Brown versus Board of Education happened in '54, we still are trying. You just had a desegregation order to desegregate a school district in Mississippi a month ago. They've been fighting it since '54. HBCUs are still underfunded. In Maryland, there's a current lawsuit to get the state to fund more. So for me, education still is the most vital issue facing us because it's tied to income inequality. It's tied to folks who are in prison. It's tied to every critical issue. And so if we are getting educated, then we are on a much better path to being empowered, but we still should fight the other issues as well. But if you don't have an education, you screwed in America. One
more thing I want to ask you. First of all, do you have children?
No.
Okay.
But my wife and I have raised 6 of my nieces, so if you paying for them, they're yours.
Roland, what do we tell our young black kids, boys or girls? Because my husband and I, we go through this constantly with Kevin. Before Trayvon, it's like, take the hood off. Don't put your hands in your pockets. You call an officer, and sir. What do you tell them?
The first thing you tell me is your job is to get home. Now, that's hard because, again, I go back to technically being a full American. You got the videos of white kids acting a fool, swinging on cops, and they get arrested, but black kids swung on a cop, prepare to have a body bag and have a funeral. And so what we have to do is, first of all, again, we all have the talk, and that is how you behave, what you say, don't make any quick movements.
Right.
I mean, and it's literally say, basically, can I breathe?
Right.
I mean, is it okay if I can breathe?
Right.
But you go through all of that, but you also maintain your dignity. And that is, if I'm being treated badly by a cop, I'm going to get through that situation, but I'm looking at the cop number, I'm looking at the license plate, because I'm calling somebody after this is over. And I'm going to follow through to make sure that person gets punished for their behavior. But you got to get home. And that's hard. That's hard when you're being disrespected. And you know you're being disrespected, but your first duty is to get home to mom and daddy or to your husband or your wife.
All right, we are back. I just want to play that clip for you guys. And I'm going to say this. I've never really been a huge fan of Wendy Williams, but I will have to say this. I do respect her because sometimes I think people say things of ignorance, and I don't think that they realize what they say. And for her to acknowledge that she was wrong, I really have to respect her for that. I think, I'm going to be real with you, I think part of it had to do with the backlash, though, because she in a way, she knows better. But at least she did come right out and say that I was wrong. But I think a lot of it had to do with the backlash that she received, because I'm telling you now, people were dragging her like up and down social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, everything.
I think she lost like 3 sponsors within like 2 days.
Yeah. So it was. I think it was really. It had a lot to do with it was about the money, and like you said, it was the sponsorship. But like I said, this is not the first time she has made comments like this. Like I said before we went to the video. I think it was back earlier this year. She made some comments after the episode aired on the Real Housewives of Atlanta when Portia and Cynthia into a brawl on the show. They were on a boat, and I guess they got into some dispute. And I guess after that episode aired, she got on her show and said, "These women make me ashamed of being black." Like, And my thing is, if it takes something as small as that, like just two women, two human beings just having a disagreement to make you being ashamed of being black, then there's some more deep-seated issues that you need to deal with, because nobody's going to make me feel ashamed of being who I am if I'm not participating in that particular behavior myself. So she has a history of just saying just asinine things, and pretty much Wendy Williams has always been known to be messy. She's always been known to just be flat out disrespectful. She intrudes on people's privacy. She does not care. She has no limits, no boundaries to what she says on her show, and especially when she had a radio show, she was just brutal. She was ruthless. Like the Wendy Williams that you see now is a lot calmer than the Wendy Williams that used to be on the radio back in the day. She was just
the Wendy Williams you see now has got a few more zeros on her paychecks, So it's amazing how adding a couple of zeros will tame a person.
Yeah, she was a ghetto gutter.
She didn't have a lot of regulations that she has now. Because when you're on TV, it's way different than when you're on the radio. Yeah, you got censors and things of that nature, but you can't just go for people like that on camera.
And then you got a lot of more sponsors too, and you have a lot more to lose too. And with her audience being probably more broader now, she has to she does what she thinks is pandering to her audience now. But really, sometimes that stuff comes back to bite her because everybody's not up for that. So I just think it's really sad that and it's just not her. It's not just Wendy Williams, but I just want to use her as an example. I think a lot of these people, when they get success, they get fame. You look at people like Charles Barkley. You look at people like let's just throw a name out there, Cheryl Underwood. Can we say? Ooh. I've heard it. And I even heard Whoopi Goldberg's been kind of cooning lately too. That's what I've been hearing. I didn't see it. They said that she got on. She was on The View saying some stuff when Jesse Williams made his speech. Like her commentaries about that. They said she said some disparaging. I haven't followed her since that episode. I usually go back and kind of watch what they say about different stuff. And I haven't went back and watched it, so I said I was going to kind of catch up on it. But I tell you, one person that I just do not like, and I don't like her because of the fact that she is and I don't go against like parties or whatever, but she is a devout Republican, and she will stand on it. And to me, she hides behind her what is it? I think she's a Delta. Cheryl Underwood. Yeah. She hides behind that as that makes her pro-black. And to me, she is the biggest fraud there is.